in the world of molecules in the microcosm, I saw a resonance between all of these different molecules. They are all have the same hexagon and pentagon structure at the core. And there's little subtle differences in each molecule that make them different. And for me, this kind of represents this molecule is like the master key, and then you have differences on the skinny branches that open different locks.
Mm-hmm.
But look at these
Six
things.
and
You have
five.
theobromine as the active ingredient in chocolate, right? And it's if you follow it across to the left, you'll see happiness is correlated with serotonin. And the molecule has the same core, but there are differences on the outside. And we all know that chocolate and happiness are related, aren't they? You
You
know?
bet. Yeah.
And then look at some of the other ones. You've got like wakefulness, which is associated with melatonin and
Mm-hmm.
the sleep cycle, connected with the adenine molecule, which is part of the ATP energy molecule in the body.
Mm.
And so wakefulness and having energy are somehow correlated, at least in our experience, right?
You
And then we
bet.
have stimulation of caffeine is somehow related with like DMT, which is stimulation on a whole other level, you know, um, much far beyond caffeine, of course, but somehow I see a resonance here with all of these different molecules. And I find it fascinating that they have similar geometries. What do you think about that, Jeff? Am I reading too much into this, Jeff, or
No,
do
no,
you see
not at all.
something in
This
there?
is this is beautiful for people like me, Scott, because this is why I love the way you present your work. So, when we talk about pattern recognition, this is really straightforward. So when I look at it, I just see you've got a hexagon, a beautiful six-sided shape, and you see a pentagon, beautiful five-sided shape, right? And, through the geometry, I've become familiar with the relationship between the hexagon and the Pentagon. Like I've drawn these shapes over and over again. They have different qualities to them, don't they? Like the hexagon represents kind of order, harmony, structure. It's like what the bees make their hives out of and all the rest of it. Or their honeycombs, I should say.
Right.
And then like the five, represents the golden ratio and essentially stands for anything that grows. It's like life, isn't it? So then the core of this molecule, to me, just in the way you present it, is like this very, very particular relationship between 5 and 6. And what makes them different, just like you say, it's like the little strands of them is like what opens the various doors,
And it's like
And
life interfacing with structure. In a way, it's sort of like the soul interfacing with the body, the structure of the
yes,
body. And that's what
yes,
we call life, right?
yeah,
It's that marriage,
yeah.
that sacred marriage of the
So
hexagon and
cool.
the pentagon that is what it's all about. And so these
Mm.
molecules, it just blows my mind that they have this structure at the core, you know?
Completely. I mean, this is when I say to people like geometry's all around you, it makes up our world. It's everywhere. We're made of geometry. And people go, what are you talking about, Geoff? These are the diagrams that are helpful, to say, hey, like who would have thought that like chocolate is set up very, very similarly to DMT or what makes us happy, or melatonin is the stuff that makes us dream, doesn't it, when we're asleep?
It's associated with like you take melatonin pills after you go on a long distance flight, uh,
Gotcha.
because it helps you wake up and get up
Uh-huh.
and get rid of your jet lag. It's
Mm-hmm.
associated with wakefulness. So,
Yeah.
but all of these molecules have something to do with the brain, with alertness, with all these things. They're somehow related at a core level,
Yeah,
but
like
each one has a
brain.
different expression.
Mm.
Caffeine is different than chocolate, but
Hmm.
they're both things that we enjoy taking to kind of stimulate us, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I just can't get up in the morning without my caffeine, my chocolate, and my DMT.
Yeah.
I'm only joking. But the diagram in the middle, Scott, is the very interesting. Like because it kind of is like it's a weird geometry, but it's obviously I see the blue hexagon and the red pentagon.
It comes from
Um,
Albrecht Dürer's, I think it was the art of drawing with a ruler and compasses. And
uh-huh.
he was the first one in that I'm aware of in Western history to draw this diagram, and he did that in that book. And so it was a very simple construction, which I show here. And what's interesting is there's these three different axes that go through the diagram that I've shown here that form these kind of oppositions, like chocolate and happiness. They're somehow related, and
Mm.
wakefulness and energy, they're somehow related, and stimulation
Mm-hmm.
and like kind of spiritual stimulation with DMT in a way are
Mm-hmm.
somehow
Mm-hmm.
related. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of pulling this out geometrically speaking and arranging them in this way. So
I
hopefully
love
this diagram gives you a lot of food for thought, and I'd
it.
be interested in hearing what you think in the comments.